Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Global Dokkan is just part of the details and animations for LR Omega Shenron, so that also does mean, and it is currently in the news, that we're going to be getting the final stage to the Birth of the Shadow Dragons event, and we'll be getting stage 8 against Omega Shenron coming soon, along with the release of LR Omega Shenron as well. So testing units out against Omega Shenron is going to be coming. More content is going to be coming your way fast. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments of his kit, if you're going to be summoning for him, and his global animations, and if you're excited to finally get stage 8 of the Shadow Dragon event as well. Let's go through his details. He does lead GT bosses by 200% in the key +3. Once you activate the entrance animation upon his entry, he will change Int key spheres to rainbow key spheres for 7 turns from the character's entry turn. All enemies get attack and defense minus 25%, and then he starts the turn with key +3, attack and defense plus 200%, and then gains an additional attack plus 20% with each attack performed up to 150%. He will then gain key +1 and damage reduction by 5% per GT boss's category ally on the team. As I mentioned before, when making LR Omega Shenron, it's like Dokkan didn't account for other units that are actually on the category or the type of content they're releasing and how this category looks, because GT bosses is in a shit state. It's been in a shit state for years. And don't get me wrong, you know, there's been some recent buffs. Unfortunately, the dual 17 unit, it's not suited for this type of content. You know, they're for long form content, which we don't have. You know, Omega Shenron is good, but he's reliant on other GT boss units, which GT bosses just doesn't actually have right now. So him as a unit would actually work pretty well there. Him with a 200% lead on GT bosses would actually be very nice. But there aren't any units to really use on the team besides like 1, maybe 2. And of course, that's just not enough. So it hurts him massively. Massively. So unless this year we've got some GT boss units coming like Baby, etc., then LR Omega Shenron is just going to continue being like by the wayside. But in terms of the rest of his kit, he does also gain an additional damage reduction of 7% per rainbow keys for obtained. Like, can you imagine that? You know, combined with his entrance animation for changing rainbow key spheres, and if you had a full GT bosses team, he would have a ton of damage reduction, like a ton of damage reduction, and he would actually be pretty good. But unfortunately not, that would be in a different universe. So if his HP is also 50% or less at the start of character's attack in turn, he will revive with 70% HP recovered when the character or an ally attacking in the same turn is KO'd. Attacks are effective against all types, and he will also launch an additional super attack starting from the turn in which the character's revival skill is activated, and a guaranteed additional. So as I said, if you actually could get his damage reduction off, he would actually be a pretty good unit. And a very good unit for GT bosses at that. But again, in a different world, right? His link set is Brutal Beatdown, Big Bad Bosses, GT, Fear and Faith, Shadow Dragons, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. On his active skill, it can be activated when the target enemy is in attack down or defense down status, starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle. Not the best active skill conditions, but on his active skill, he'll greatly raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage to the enemy and lower attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn, and disable enemies' actions once within the turn. His categories are GT bosses, Shadow Dragon Saga, Full Power, Inhuman Deeds, Power Absorption, Battle of Fate, Transformation Boost, Powerful Comeback. And because he's so heavily attached or heavily reliant on GT boss units, all these other categories, I say all these others, these few other categories he has, he doesn't have space on them teams because you need GT boss units, which we just don't really have any good ones of. On 12 key, he'll raise defense by 30%, cause colossal damage to the enemy and lower attack with a 50% chance of stunning. And then on 18 key, he'll greatly raise defense by 50% for 1 turn, cause mega colossal damage to the enemy and lower attack and defense, and still super attack. So as I said, if in an alternate universe we actually had GT boss units or good GT boss units, his release would actually be pretty good. 200% lead. He gets a ton of damage reduction, so running dual Omega Shenrons on like 1st and 2nd rotation would be insane. If we had the units, the team would work. If we had the units, LR Omega Shenron will probably be one of the strongest units in the game. But we're not in that world. We're not in that reality. We're in the reality of where GT bosses is still cheeks, we don't have the units. It's looking lacking. It's looking empty. And because the Mega Shenron's so reliant on those units, he is poo. So while he himself isn't looking too good or isn't too good, hopefully his global voice lines are looking pretty decent. But we'll see. I mean, that sounds decent. I always quite liked his intro animation. But that sounded decent. I can't lie, that sounded good. His animations are always pretty good. It's just the kit, man. It's just the kit. It doesn't work. I said in a different reality, sure. So we're gonna have the revival.
This is Shenron's special technique, wasn't it? I'm going to put you out of your misery now. You won't have to worry about the fate of this planet any longer.
His voice lines are actually solid. Yeah, no, his voice lines are decent. It's just the kit doesn't match the animations and the voices. Yeah, no, his animations are decent and his global voice lines are actually pretty good. They're pretty solid. His active skill actually sounds pretty decent. I won't even lie. Just unfortunately, the kit doesn't match. But you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Once again, if you are going to be summoning for this unit, which I doubt a lot of you will be, do let me know. And let me know how your summons do go. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. And peace.